AZ Mysteries, The Jaguar's Jewel. I'm going to read the back cover first. J is for Jewel. When the kids visit Dink's uncle in New York City, they're dazzled by his museum's latest treasure, a statue of a gold jaguar with a precious emerald between its paws. But when the jewel is swapped for a fake, the police name Dink's uncle as a suspect. It's up to Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose to uncover the real crook who stole the Jaguar's jewel. Chapter 1. Dink spread the note on his knees and read it out loud. Dear nephew Donnie, I am so happy that you're coming to visit. You and your friends are going to love New York City. I will meet your train at 4 o'clock on Friday at Grand Central Station. Love, Uncle Warren. Josh giggled. He calls you Donnie? Yeah, Dink said, blushing. But if you ever do, I'll tell all the kids at school your middle name is Carol. But my middle name isn't Carol, Josh said. Dink flashed an evil grin. So? Guys, I think we're there, Ruth Rose said. The train slowed. Suddenly, the bright, sunny day vanished. Everything outside, the train windows turned black. Hey, what happened? Josh cried. Dink laughed. We're in a tunnel, Josh, he said. Don't worry. Ruth Rose and I will protect you. The train slowed even more, then stopped. New York, Grand Central Station, the conductor called. Last stop, all passengers off. The kids grabbed their backpacks and followed the other passengers to the door. Watch your step, the conductor said. He helped the kids hop onto the platform. They found themselves standing in a concrete tunnel. The dust and soot coming up from under the train made Dink sneeze. Where do we go? Josh asked. My uncle said he'd meet us, Dink said. Maybe we should just wait here. All around them, people were hurrying along the platform. Dink stood on tiptoe, but he couldn't see his uncle anywhere. Is that him? Ruth Rose asked. She pointed to a short man in a gray suit. He was pushing toward them through the crowd. Dink jumped up and down and waved. Uncle Warren, here we are. Here's Uncle Warren. Uncle Warren Duncan had white hair and a big smile. He carried an umbrella and wore a red carnation in his lapel. His glasses twinkled in the underground lights. Donnie, welcome, he said, beaming at the kids. How was your train ride? Are you hungry? We're fine, Dink said. The train was great, and Mom packed sandwiches for us. Splendid, Dink's uncle gave him a big hug. And whom have we here? He asked, peering through his round glasses. Josh and Ruth Rose, Dink said, my best friends. Marvelous, Uncle Warren said, shaking their hands. Now let's go find a cab. Follow me. Uncle Warren marched up a long ramp with the kids right behind him. A moment later, they entered the biggest room Dink had ever seen. Hundreds of people bustled in every direction. A deep voice announcing train arrivals and departures echoed over a loudspeaker. Piles of luggage were heaped around the gleaming marble floor. Try as he might, Dink couldn't take it all in. Uncle Warren said, This is Grand Central Station's main terminal. Look up. The kids tipped their heads back and looked up and up. Gold-painted stars and animals danced across the emerald green ceiling. This is so awesome, Josh said. Look, there's a bull and a goat. Taurus and Capricorn, the zodiac signs, dear boy, Uncle Warren explained. Now onward. Uncle Warren marched them toward an exit. The kids followed him out of the building. The street outside Grand Central Station was a shock to Dink. His ears were blasted by horns honking, brakes squealing, music blaring, and food vendors shouting. Welcome to the Big Apple, Uncle Warren said. He waved his umbrella and whistled. A yellow cab zoomed up and screeched to a halt inches from Uncle Warren's shiny black shoes. Uncle Warren yanked open the rear door. In, youngsters, he cried. They had barely sat down and shut the door when the cab lurched back into traffic. "Where to?" the driver asked over her shoulder. "Number 340 West 110th Street, Uncle Warren said. He turned to the kids. "We'll stop at the museum first," he said. I'm expecting a shipment from South Africa." Jink sat up as the driver zigzagged her way up a wide avenue. With his nose to the glass, Dink watched thousands of cars, taxis, buses, bikes, and people dodge one another. Even through the closed taxi window, he could feel the throbbing pulse of the huge city. 20 minutes later, the cab hurtled to a stop in front of a building made of white marble. "Here we are," the driver said. Uncle Warren handed her a few bills. "Keep the change, please." "Thanks, mister," the driver said, smiling into her rearview mirror. Uncle Warren and the kids piled out of the taxi. "This is where I work," Uncle Warren said. He pointed to a small brass sign next to a green door. The sign read, "The Porter Museum." Dink noticed that it was a lot quieter here. Trees stood in front of the buildings, and a few kids were drawing chalk pictures on the sidewalk. From a window across the street came the sound of someone playing a piano. Suddenly, he heard a voice call out, "Warren, hello!" Dink saw a smiling man and woman standing in front of a small restaurant next to the museum. Behind them, a sign above a wide window read, "Le Petit Bistrot." "Come meet my friends," Uncle Warren said, heading toward the couple. He introduced the kids. "And this is John Paul and his wife, Yvonne," Uncle Warren said. Uncle Warren pointed to the sign. "These lovely people own the best French restaurant in New York." "Hello," the man and woman said, smiling. "Nice to meet you," the kids said all together. Yvonne turned to Uncle Warren. "It came," she said, "a big, heavy box. 4 men carried it upstairs to your office." Jean-Paul reached into his pocket. "I went up with them, then locked the door when they left," he said, dropping a key on a brass ring into Uncle Warren's hand. "What's in the box?" Dink asked. Uncle Warren winked. "Nothing much," he said. "Only priceless gold." And that's the end of chapter 1.